What's up, people? It's your wingman here, Soldier Nurse. Welcome to my channel. I want to thank you for tuning in, for helping yourself prepare better. And I'm glad that this information is able to help prepare you for OTS. Okay? Subscribe, like, and share, somebody. I will repeat again. Subscribe, like, and share, right? Push it out there. Let other people benefit just as you are doing. And because the goal is for you to do better than I did when I went through OTS, Officer Training School. Many of you has been asking me to put up a video on the guidance that establishes the trainee officer wing structure. All right, the organization, how it is organized, and how the functions of the various officer trainees that are going to be picking up positions while you are in training. Just so you be mindful that every single one of you, when you go to school, might likely be assigned a job. Okay, but then what kind of jobs are available, and what do you expect? Which job would you likely pick if you are given the opportunity to choose? So there are so many trainee positions, and we're going to be doing this in part because there's so many of them. We're doing the first part, and then we'll have the second part coming up, and possibly the third part. And I have a surprise for you. You remember the awesome guy, my brother from another mother, Lieutenant Martin, who did the academic video and helping you guys out with what to expect in academics OTS. So he is talking on some of the positions in OTS, and I hope that it will help you pick the right one. I personally was a graduation officer in my flight, and I would love to talk about that, but I don't want the video to be too long right now. Let us talk about the various positions as Lieutenant Martin is coming on board. And the second video, most likely we're talking about the graduation ceremony officer.
Hey future officer trainees, my name is Lieutenant Andrew Martin. I graduated from Officer Training School in May 2020 with class 2005. I'm a pilot trainee at Columbus, Mississippi right now. I'm awaiting undergraduate pilot training as a casual lieutenant right now. It should begin in a few months. I had a fantastic experience at OTS. I served with Brother G, and he asked me to curate this video describing the various flight level trainee jobs at OTS. I was academics officer for Oscar Flight, and you can find me talking about my experience in that position in another Soldier Nurse video. I'll just briefly list off a few positions from my flight and a few basic duties attributed to them and my experiences with the officer trainee, OT for short, in those roles. Just a note before we begin, first of all, OTS changes from class to class, so some of the details attributed to class 2005 and my experience within it in this video may have changed since then. My guess is that most things will be similar. They've remained quite similar over the last few years, but some elements may change. Second of all, so you'll figure out pretty quickly that OTS structure, there's a flight unit. It's much like the regular Air Force in the sense that there's a flight unit, which is the smallest unit. There's a squadron unit, which is made up of multiple flights, and then there's the wing, which will be all of your OTs in your class. That's made up of 4 different squadrons. And each level, flight, squadron, wing, has an officer in each respective role assigned to it. So there will be a wing level standardization officer. There will be, for each squadron, a squadron standardization officer. And for each flight, there will be a flight standardization officer. So we'll just start with flight standardization officer. So the Stando will review and practice dorm maintenance and standardization rules to ensure that all OTs are within guidelines and are ready for inspections. They'll coordinate with wing and squadron level standos to clarify the expectations of trainees and ask any questions about unclear procedures in the dorms and in the flight rooms. I remember my stando, he's a good guy, good friend. He would go through the flight room every day in the first couple weeks and make sure that everything, name tags, cups, notebooks, was in order and standardized for each OT at their position, to make sure that when the captain walked in and called everybody to attention and walked around the room checking that he wouldn't notice anything out of place, out of standardization. That's really important in the first couple of weeks. He did a good job of that. The second position I'll talk about is the physical training officer, PTO for short. They lead flight level PT sessions when we don't have squadron PT in the morning. This is especially in the first couple of weeks, especially during the coronavirus pandemic. They'll set goals with flight members struggling to meet PT requirements, and our PTO did a really good job of this. We had one person in particular who struggled to meet PT requirements, and our PTO worked really hard to actually go out with this OT during the day to run, to practice push-ups and sit-ups, just to make sure that they were progressing towards their physical fitness assessment, PFA. And this OT achieved their goal. It was great. It was a big victory for all of us, and we actually achieved all of our goals as a flight for PT. So credit to this PTO. He was very encouraging, and he did a lot for our flight and for me personally. I know I got a little stronger because of him and his good PT sessions in the evening. Like I said, PTO, they encourage supplementary PT, stretches, therapeutic measures for developing injuries. So I had a hip flexor injury in my last couple weeks of OTS. So when this was developing, my PTO really worked with me to make sure that I was taking it easy, that I wasn't going to push myself too hard, and that I was going to get better before our physical fitness assessment, PFA. I actually missed our prop and wings run, so I had to be the guy who came in late on a marching and PT waiver. Just as everybody was coming back from this 6-mile run, I was fully rested and relaxed, had just done some dorm maintenance, and everybody else is just winded and exhausted from this run and on a waiver for PT. Really stunk, but my PTO encouraged it. He was a good guy. Third position I'll talk about is the drill and ceremonies officer, the DCO. They lead drill practice after standard military training SMT days. So we practice in the hallway and in the commons area after the SMT day ended. And by George, I needed that drill practice because I was really terrible in the first few weeks at the drill movements, especially like about face and to the rear arch. I mean, you'll figure it out. Later on, the DCO stood outside of the flight formation and critiqued marching at dining priority, DP, times when we were lined up outside of the dining facility waiting for meals. So if somebody would do a facing movement wrong or if they were out of step, the DCO would be standing outside of formation, would walk alongside the formation to make spot corrections on people if they weren't marching properly. And the MTI held the DCO, our military training instructors, drill instructors, would hold the DCOs accountable for that in the later weeks of OTS. Yeah, our DCO, she helped me out a lot. She was a great help to me in the first few weeks of OTS as we were really learning this stuff. I was a weak little civilian, and I had to learn all this stuff, and she was a big help to me. I couldn't have done it without her. And she was a prior enlisted member who had a lot of experience and enjoyed drill and ceremonies, so that helped out a lot. You'll find that you pick up these positions just based on what you're good at, what you think your strengths are, and what you enjoy. I mean, academics officer was a good fit for me. Public affairs, the fourth position we'll talk about here. PA. PA officer took photos and videos of the flight at activities. They would go outside of the formation where we were marching to get good shots of us, and they would go outside of activities while we were performing expeditionary skills training to just make sure that was recorded while we were enjoying ourselves or really suffering. They'd take pictures and videos of us. And they would arrange group photo shoots and organized our information for formal portraits. So I remember our PA officer going around with these like information forms for each flight member before our formal portraits were taken. The PA officer would also compile photos and edited video and send the organized media up to the squadron PA, who would then send it up to the wing PA for distribution on OTS social media. So anything you'll see from previous OTS classes, came from initially a flight PA officer and then up the chain of command for distribution for OTS as a whole. That's all OTs doing that, largely. And then fifth, so there are a few positions for this, and Brother G may do more videos on this later, but there are various events that happen throughout OTS. They're called HELPs, WELPs, Home Expeditionary Leadership Practice Session, Warrior Expeditionary Leadership Practice Session, MLEX, Emergency Management Leadership Exercise, Wargaming, which is computer-based. I love the wargaming part, by the way. I think our wargaming officer did a pretty good job of that too. It's like computer Air Force employment exercise. And Vigilant Warrior Camp, which you'll have a deployment officer who will handle that. The deployment officer was actually my roommate, so I got to hear a lot about that. And each of these positions and events will have their own officer in the flight. And these OTs will help organize the events, disseminate information and brief the flight, and make sure that people and equipment get to where they need to be during the events. And very important. It's a hard-working job and it's really stressful for the week before the event, as they're trying to coordinate with wing and squadron level officers of the same variety and make sure that everybody has their information, that they're briefed, and that they're ready for these events as they happen. Very important. Each position has its own special importance in the flight. There will also be safety officers, and I remember our safety officer, she'd make sure that we were hydrating throughout the day. So, I mean, you'll have chants, like somebody will call hydrate, and there'll be like a call and response for hydrate, and she'll also make sure that when we go out to like deployment and stuff like that in the woods, that you'll be briefed on like venomous animals and poisonous plants and all that good stuff. It's also very important. We didn't have one in our flight, but there's also like a morale officer that'll help organize movie nights and rest and relaxation time when you do infrequently get that during OTS. But all these positions are very important in the flight, squadron, wing, and they'll make sure that you're successful. I mean, you've heard a few of the stories from this video. My flight members in each of these positions helped me out a ton. They were great, and I couldn't have done it without them. So, OTS was a great experience. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comment below. Like and subscribe to Soldier Nurse. He's a good guy. Thank you.
So, as I said, the next video we're going to have some Soldier Nurse, not just me talking about graduation officer. I have another surprise for you in the second video, and we're going to be having Lieutenant Vasek, because he was our wing graduation officer. So she is also going to be talking about that. She was our wing graduation officer. We also have Lieutenant Fisher, an awesome guy. He was a wargaming officer, and man, that's another brother from another mother. We prayed a lot. We spent so much time praying to go through this program. It wasn't easy. It was never really easy, but we did it. We did it. So those are my brothers, and I'm glad to have them on Soldier Nurse channel. I want to encourage those of you who are believers and really depends on God in everything that you do. Today, I really pray that God will guide you, strengthen you, give you the ability to overcome the challenges that you face in your life, and that you should not give up. Know that He who is in you is greater than the obstacles that you face every day. So don't give up, okay? Keep pushing. Take the step, bold step, the courage of Joshua, so you may succeed. And for those that don't really believe in God or anything like that, I wouldn't want to be praying down on your head or anything like that. But hey, listen to this. I want to encourage you today. Okay? All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. Walt Disney actually said that. He said that all dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue those dreams. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. So because you're getting started right now just by watching this video, clicking it, liking it, subscribing, and you are pursuing your dream in the Air Force, you are in the track of victory. You are in the track of success. And I know you're going to be an awesome officer, just as you have taken the opportunity to study thyself approved, to look into what is expected so that you can be the best. You see, being the best begins with taking the first step. Being the best begins with doing your research. Being the best begins with asking questions. And that's what you are doing. Don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. You see, I almost gave up because people did not believe in me. They thought, they asked me to drop this. They said, how you gonna make it? You know, they say you're going to the Air Force. You have an accent. Your degree is in biochemistry. You're gonna have to take a degree again in America and all that. Yes, I did. I got a nursing degree from the States. But do not let anyone limit your potential. Keep doing it. Have fun. Sojourners, peace out. Oh, before I leave, I didn't forget, I want to remind you to subscribe, to share, and to like. Subscribe, share, and like. Your brother here. Love. Peace out.